What we're worried about is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are starting to get noticed around the National Football League, the country. They may have slipped to the fourth favorite with fans and adults. I don't care. What I care about is victories, wins, and our guest, yes, Drew Pearson, between the eights, knows about winning, knows about Super Bowls, knows about championships. So without further ado, we bring on the original 88, my favorite Dallas Cowboy, Drew Pearson. And I say that because my cousin and my roommate have also played for the Dallas Cowboys. None finer than the original 88. Drew, good morning and welcome back to Laying Down.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
What's happening, Drew?
Yeah, I appreciate that intro, man. I wonder what you say when I'm not around.
I say that I am very blessed and privileged to have a piece of football lore that I can call a friend, that I can share an opportunity with, because we have the ability to get on the airways of ESPN Radio and allow folks that didn't get the opportunity to see you play. Let me tell you, Drew, when you played, I was out in El Paso, Texas as a little kid, and there used to be a show called Victory at Sea. Victory at Sea used to come on first, and that's why I used to build the little model battleships, the Missouri and the Arizona and all that stuff, and the aircraft carriers. But then when pregame came on for the Dallas Cowboys, and you and Mr. Staubach and everybody got a chance to play Billy Joe Dupree, et cetera, man, I tell you what, I emulate you, and I said this to some people tailgate at the University of Texas yesterday. You had my favorite spike, the one that you do the windmill and the one that you unfortunately hurt your leg on. That is my favorite touchdown spike of all time. I've done that spike on people in flag football, regular football, got penalized as a kid, and in youth football and Optimus. Because of that.
That doesn't surprise anybody. That doesn't surprise anybody that you got flagged.
Well, that's okay, because I also scored a lot of points just like Drew Pearson. And I believe today, Drew, the Dallas Cowboys will do the same against the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, I hope so, too. We can't take this game lightly, even though the Giants just got pounded last Sunday night by Philadelphia. Eli Manning has had great success, 4-1. In Cowboy Stadium or AT&T Stadium, so we got to be concerned about that. And hopefully the guys won't stub their toe and take things lightly. I just happened to be out at practice Friday doing some things for the Cowboy marketing side with some of their sponsors, and I got to watch practice. And excuse me, guys. Tell you, I was pretty impressed with what I saw. And, when you're watching, you're trying to see what the guys are doing, how they're reacting to things, how they're moving around, and that type of thing. And I saw a very crisp practice. Guys moving from hopping from one drill to the next, putting the effort in to when they were running plays. There's not a lot of standing around. It was very aggressive type practice, even though they were in shorts and jerseys and things like that. They had helmets on. But I was really impressed with how Jason Garrett was handling the practice and working on it. And one thing that he was stressing in the practice was special teams. We had some flaws there last week against Seattle. So he was trying to put make his presence known, that the importance of special teams in that situation, because they need to improve there. So it was good to see that. But it was also just good to see that the guys were in great spirit, working, and not really being full of themselves, just taking their jobs and doing what they had to do. And so I was impressed with practice, and that was a concern of mine. How do these guys practice on a regular basis? But being 5-1, you got to know that they're practicing the right way. And certainly seeing that Friday proved that to me.
We're talking with Drew Pearson. We're between the eights with the original 88. Let me ask you this, because you said you were out there. What about the maturation of now the current 88 Des Bryant?
Yeah, he's a prominent figure on this football team. We know what he can do in game situations. He has made some tremendous plays so far this season. But, the way he carries himself in practice, he is definitely one of the leaders on that football team. And the way he practices kind of sets the tempo for the offense. to practice, and also for the defensive backs because he makes them cover him. So, Dez has really matured. He hasn't really broken out so far this season. He's had a nice season, but he really hasn't had that breakout game yet. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're not throwing the ball downfield as much as they have, and the fact that the running game is going. So Dez is averaging only 12 yards a catch, but he's been very effective in making the 22. How many catches does he have? He has 36 catches, but he's made those 36 catches really count for the Cowboys offense. So the best thing about Dez, he's not getting the ball as much as he wants, or he's not making as many plays as he wants, but he's not going off. He's still working with the confines of the offense, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. We're talking Between the Eights with Drew Pearson. Drew, let's flip it on the other side and talk about the New York Football Giants. They lose Victor Cruz to a patella tendon injury, and that just, you hate to see that because you really want to beat your opponents. I used to at full strength. I didn't want them to have an excuse that they didn't have this player or that player. But Odell Beckham Jr. comes in, LSU product, very high pick for the New York Football Giants, and they're looking to get him, Ruben Randall, Larry Donnell, and Donnell, and a couple of other folks against this secondary, which I think for the Cowboys has played extremely well.
Yeah, they've come on, and the fact that they're doing it without a great pass rush, we've got to sack the quarterback a little more than we have been. And that's what I understand Rob Marinelli has been stressing with the defensive line, putting pressure on the quarterback and finding ways, to get some sacks. But the secondary has been playing well despite that. And they're shutting down people, shutting down some good receivers. They shut Percy Harvin down so cold that they ended up trading Percy Harvin to the New York Jets. And nobody would ever thought that would happen,
right,
during the course of a regular season.
Right.
So what they're doing is just hustling, man. They're getting after it. The safeties, Barry Church and Wilcox, man, they're laying wood on people, and they're creating fear in the middle of that football field that if receivers want to roam in there, they better come ready because those guys are bringing it. And then the guys on the outside, led by Skandrick, he sets a different attitude with the guys. He's got that mean streak, that nasty streak that you like to see in players. You don't want to carry that off the field, but when you're on the field, you like to see that. And you're seeing that, and that's carrying over into Sterling Moore. That's carrying over into Brandon Carr. And they're playing a lot better in that secondary, and hopefully they won't take these Giants lightly because Victor Cruz is not there. Because I remember last year Ruben Randall having a good game against us. And, of course, Odell Beckham Jr., he's only a rookie, but he has a lot of potential. So we can't take these guys lightly. We have to bring it against them, and the secondary is going to be a big part of that.
Absolutely. And, Drew, you had Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris, and then you had the kind of the next generation was, you had the James Washingtons and the, Woodsons, and then now you're seeing some guys that are starting to play with consistency in that secondary. Spencer had a question for you there, Drew.
Yeah, Drew, I just wanted to add something. I really think that I don't think that they're going to lay off this week. I think that the Cowboys are finally at the place to where they're ready and they have the ability to prove that they're better than they're beyond just being good on paper. The last couple of years, they've been good on paper. Who they had at wide receiver, who they had at running back, and you look at the Cowboys on paper, and you're trying to figure out why they aren't contending for a Super Bowl every year the last couple of years. And I think that now they're at that place. They were tired of the ridicule. Dallas is a very tough market. I would visit with Bill Bates. Bill told me this. He said, Spencer, there's no way that I could have stayed in Dallas for 20 years as a player if I listened to the radio or I watched any sports television, because there were guys that were coming in there that were possibly more physically talented than I was, but they couldn't outplay him. And just the character guy that he is, and the way people just tear you up, how tough that market is. And I think that they're ready to prove that.
Yeah, there's no question. This is a different attitude, a different team. Being 5-1, the way they got there, winning 5 straight games, they should be confident. They should look at themselves as a good football team, a team that could do something. You got 10 games left in the regular season. If you win 5 of those games and finish 5-5 with the final 10 games, you're 10-6. So, that should be good enough to get you in the playoffs in today's NFL. So these guys know where they are. It's a different attitude. And with that comes confidence. And with that comes lack of indecision in what you're doing out there on the field. And these guys are playing reckless, abandoned-type football, but still playing within the confines of the defense, or the offense. And, yeah, the media up here is brutal. When things are going bad, they pile on. There's no question about that. But now things are going good. They're piling on that side. In the day's paper, they're comparing Jason Garrett to Tom Landry.
Whoa.
Here we go. Last week, I'm reading the paper. All 4 sports writers that they use to predict games all pick Seattle. Now I'm looking in the paper. 8 sports writers are picking the Cowboys. So, when things are going bad, they know how to pile it on. But when things are going good, they know how to take care of that as well.
Absolutely. Drew, your prediction, you have been steady, Eddie, solid as Sears, and all those good things. 5-1
this year. What y'all want?
No, hey, Drew, you know what we want, Drew? We want that same Super Bowl-type ring that you display when we see you in person. That's exactly what we want. And as you talk about the Dallas media, the national media is now trying to predict this will be one of the highest scoring Super Bowls with, the Cowboys and Broncos, which is, like you said, winning breeds some interesting comments from the media.
Yeah, well, we just got to be careful not to get too full of ourselves.
Yes.
There's still a long way to go. And you know what, guys, another thing that plays a big factor, we see it happening every week in the National Football League, is injuries. And we've been pretty lucky. We're going to lose Doug Free for this game. But, when you look at the big picture, we've been pretty lucky as far as injuries are concerned. So all y'all knock on some wood. You hear mine?
I got it. We got
knock on some wood when we talk about injuries. We don't like to do that. But we also have to recognize that we've been pretty lucky in that situation. So let's stay healthy in this game. Let's win it. And I think the Cowboys win this game 27-17.
Hey, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And heck of a performance, as you said, to date. 5-1 are the Dallas Cowboys, and great to know that you've seen them practice. I'm sure because we've heard it, and we'll talk about it throughout the season. Your practice preparation when you were a Dallas Cowboy, and how tenacious. You had it with a tremendous secondary that you had to go against, some of the best in the NFL. We look for what are you doing today for after this and to get ready for the game?
Man, I got a slow day. Yeah, yesterday I had a huge day. I had the Coleman race. I was the honorary chairman for the Dallas Coleman race for the year.
Great.
And we had over 20,000 runners out there, breast cancer survivors, people that support their survivors. It was a phenomenal event. Then I went from there to the State Fair and signed autographs for an hour. Then I went to Grapevine to do my little show I do on GameDaySportsTours.com, where we had Jay Novacek as our guest. Then I went to Fort Worth and spoke at the Omni Hotel for the Weatherford Independent School District. So I had a busy day yesterday, but today's light. All I got is a tailgate signing and a little radio show, and then I come home and watch the Cowboys game and do my show with Newey Scruggs on Channel 5 later tonight after the game. So that's what the original 88 will be doing today as the Cowboys kick that butt with the New York Giants.
Awesome. Well, listen, travel safe. Please tell Newey I said hello. I'll hit him up as well. Great individual. And, yes, he's even giving credit where credit is due, and I know he's a tough grader. So we appreciate you. Yes, the original Super Bowl champion,
Thank you,
88.
Drew.
Between the eights here on Laying Down the Law. Drew, have a great weekend, and we look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you, Drew.
Hey, guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. We're going to take a sidebar and come back with the AFC version of the NFL in Texas with the Houston Texans insider, Jay Foreman, and I think we're close to even getting him coming to Central Texas. So stay with us right here on Laying Down the Law.